yo, and hello, and welcome to the 154th episode of GameSpeak Podcast. New episodes go up for free feed subscribers every Wednesday in audio format on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and all of your favorite podcast platforms, as well as in video format on YouTube so you can see us in stunning high definition, where we need you to hit subscribe and click that notification bell. This show is two childhood BFFs bringing you all things video games. You can find us online at createforsanity.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter to never miss an episode and buy sick t-shirts, hats, mugs, everything from our shop now. Go check that out. Go to our website and click on the shop and just look. Brent, grab the hat real quick. Show them the hat. Oh my goodness.
Sick merchandise.
Yeah,
right
if
here.
you're on YouTube right now, you can see our
in
stunning
stunning HD
dad hat. We also have it in black and pink, so go check that out. Anyways, also be sure to join the community in the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/GameSpeak Podcast to hang and talk games with other nerds like us. I'm one of your hosts, JAMAL Al-Jafra, alongside Brent Hat-Wearing Bass.
Hat-wearing bass. What's up, man?
What is that?
It's a song that's popular right now.
Literally, I watched the way I found out about this song is something about a box, and
yeah, that's what the song is called, I think.
Yeah, something about a box is what it's called. No, I saw this like TikTok video of this kid and his grandma, and like the grandma was making the sounds, and like he was like singing the words and stuff, and like it was very white.
That
Anyways,
white, yeah. Like a very white situation.
Anyway, so yeah, what you been up to this week, Brent Bass?
Oh, I've been just doing my thing, just hanging out and really just enjoying life and just kind of doing my thing, I spent most of the day setting up my bed. I took the old bed out and put a new bed in,
Podcasting. And we just put a bow on that, tie it off, and send it to the internet.
That's the episode right there.
Yeah. No, so
I'll tell you what I did actually do though this week.
What'd you do?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I just want to hear it, Brent.
I finished Lock and Key.
Did you? I actually got you into it and then stopped watching.
Dude, I was honestly not gonna watch it until you told me to watch it, and now I really like it. Although I'm kind of pissed off. I went on IMDb and I was like reading through all the fucking like reviews, and like everybody hates it so much, dude.
Like, do they hate a certain part of it, or just
they're
don't
just
like
haters? They're like, oh, it's stupid and cheesy and blah blah blah. I was like, well, okay. I mean, I feel like it's supposed to be kind of cheesy. Like, I don't know. It just has that vibe to me. Like
yeah,
it's going for that.
Like a Harry Potter vibe.
Like a Harry Potter vibe. I don't know. I feel like these people aren't getting it. Like these are the same people that probably go see like B horror movies and are like, oh, that was stupid. It's like, well, you don't fucking understand what they were going for.
You just don't get it.
You just don't get it. Like,
yeah. So if you watched Lock and Key and you didn't like it, you
just don't get it.
Get with the program, bro.
No, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, it's the first time I've gotten that kind of vibes. Since like the Hunger Games. Where it's like a whole world I just want to be
invested in.
Yeah,
that's cool. I need to go back and finish it. So you're glad you finished it though? It was worth it?
Yeah, I really hope it does well enough to get a second season, because I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I really did, and I'm glad you told me to watch it.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so this week, actually this weekend, before we jump into things, we're going to be doing our GameSpeak meetup, guys, at the Game Preserve. So I think we have like at least 8 people going. I don't know how many, but
it's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, it's pretty, and that's just
and
like
this is the first annual.
First annual, yeah, or semi-annual. Who knows?
Yeah, we could do it more than once.
Yeah, it really just depends on how well it takes. Like, see if people enjoy going and meeting up. But I don't know what we're going to call it.
Why don't you tell the people when and where we're doing this in case they want to show up?
So this will be Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Game Preserve in Spring, Texas. So, which I thought it was really cool to see that some people online from like outside of Texas were like, yo, wish I could go. that means a lot to us. And, eventually one day we hope to get even a dude from Boston, whoever's in Boston right now listening to us, we love you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that in a Boston accent. Hold on. How do you say that?
I'm walking here.
There we go.
Wait, is that Boston?
Yeah, that's
No.
totally
Is that
Boston.
New York? I don't know.
It's
New
the
York
same
is Boston.
thing.
No, wait, I don't know.
It's the same Boston, New York, right? No, Boston, Massachusetts. Wait, New York is a city.
Yeah, what the fuck? Okay, just forgive our ignorance, guys.
These are the guys that told you that video games don't cause problems in youth. I just said New York as in like what? Anyways, okay.
Yeah. We're walking here.
We still love you, whatever.
Yeah, wherever you're from. The Windy City, Boston. Just kidding.
Oh man, I love it. Anyways, Brent's gonna be getting a new computer soon. That's cool. The reason I bring that up is because we're probably gonna be trying to do a lot more YouTube stuff, and since I've known Brent's been working on getting his computer, his desktop with lots of power in it. I've been working on like behind the scenes. I don't even think Brent knows this, but I've been working on some scripting behind the scenes for like a YouTube series. Like it's going to be mainly just like an informational one. It's called Canceled Games. Y'all let me know if you're interested in it, but like I've written up 2 videos so far. We're going to start off with the N64, and it'll just be like us voiceover on like giving the summary of these canceled games that were canceled for each console that are really cool, and we'll have some video footage of like anything that we can find and stuff like that. So yeah, let us know if you're interested in something like that. And Brent, I mean, with Brent having his own computer, he can be, just knocking stuff out too, like we can just like make like a whole bunch of YouTube stuff, hopefully, in the future.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty next level in this B pretty soon. So
and
expect that.
B means... What did you mean by that? No, just kidding. In this bitch. No, but anyway, so yeah, that's kind of some behind the scenes stuff. Brent, anything else you want to get into before we jump into the news?
Not anything at all.
Wow.
Not a damn thing.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. So we're going to jump on over to the video game news. Just so you guys know, we're using articles from gaming news sites from around the web, and we do not claim any of the articles as our own, simply giving commentary on the news. Brent, you want to start off, or you want me to start it off?
Start it off.
Okay, take us there.
Old Drew McCoy, one of the founding members of Titanfall and Apex Legends studio Respawn, has left the company. And he announced the news on Twitter, saying he will absolutely cherish his time at the studio. McCoy worked at Call of Duty 4 studio Infinity Ward before he, along with many others, followed Infinity Ward founders Vince Zampella and Jason West.
Hold up. You just went from like a Boston accent to a Mike Tyson.
Well, it's just kind of
Vince Zampella.
It's building its own character as it goes,
Okay. All
right. So Vince Zampella and Jason West to their new studio, Respawn, in 2010. Quote, I'll miss the people the most. The daily arguments, successes, failures, and everything in between, McCoy said. He said he's not sure where he's going yet, though he teased he will likely stay in the gaming industry. So, there you go. Sad stuff, but,
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
It's weird that he left. Like, I feel like he was getting, going up the ranks over there.
Maybe he was just bored working on Apex.
You think?
It's just like a games of service game. Like
maybe he
wanted...
didn't see a future with that or something. Like, I want to be stuck doing Apex forever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he couldn't, like flex his artistic muscles. Like he wanted to get crazy with it.
Or maybe he did something crazy at work, and they're like,
"Yeah, you
better
leave,
step
bro."
down." You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe. This next one, there's gonna be a lot of information here. I figure we just get this out of the way.
Yeah, blast it at me.
Yeah, so this is all of the Xbox news that got released like today. So this is by way of Steve Watts at GameSpot. Ahead of an official price and release date reveal, Microsoft has announced new details in regards to its upcoming next-gen console, the Xbox Series X. In a blog post, Xbox head Phil Spencer focuses on a handful of key areas: hardware power, variable rate shading, and ray tracing, an improved quick resume function, an improved quick resume function, and a brand new feature Microsoft is calling Smart Delivery. The hardware will boast 12 teraflops of GPU power, which Microsoft notes is twice that of Xbox One X. Based on an AMD Zen 2 and RDNA 2 architecture. A variable rate shading technique allows the GPU to prioritize individual effects on specific game objects rather than focus on the entire screen. It will also sport hardware-based DirectX ray tracing. The post also confirms SSD storage and 120 frames per second support. As for what all that power will go towards, Microsoft shared some end-user features too. The quick resume feature promises to be faster without waiting through loading screens, and now it can be used with multiple games at once. Xbox Series X will be backwards compatible with all previous generations of Xbox games and accessories. Also, a new smart delivery feature is essentially cross-buy, letting you purchase a game once and play it on whatever is the best hardware available. Microsoft says that developers and publishers will be able to choose to use the feature on games that release first on Xbox One and then later come to Xbox Series X. Finally, Microsoft is continuing to promote its Game Pass subscription service, noting that it will carry forward into the next generation and continue including first-party games. This notably includes Halo Infinite at launch.
So just for reference, the most powerful graphics card for computers right now on the market is the RTX 2080 Ti, which is capable of 14.2 teraflops. So, and that alone is worth more like over $1,000 probably. It's in that ballpark. You know what I mean? So the fact that we're looking at 12 teraflops for Xbox Series X is really, really impressive. You know what I mean?
For real. Yeah, no, it's really impressive. Also, a very interesting thing that they noted here, which we talked about this before, but it says the Xbox Series X is Microsoft's first volley into the next generation, as the company has noted that it's switching to just Xbox for its branding going forward. So I think because, like we were talking about before, the Series X is an overall encompassing thing of so there's going to be two different tiers here. Obviously, at least there's going to be two different consoles at launch. I'm thinking.
You think at launch?
I think at launch. I'm.
So you think E3 rolls around, they're going to announce a second console that will launch alongside the Series X?
I think it'll just be called Xbox S or Xbox something. Like, I don't think this console's actually going to be called the Series X. I think it's going to be called Xbox X. And I think the reason they're calling it Series X now is because they're trying to get it in our heads that it's one of a series. So like, I'm thinking this is all just speculation. I'm thinking that there's going to be one that's like less powerful that comes out right at launch, but it'll be cheaper.
So you're thinking this is one in a long line, or maybe a long or short line of Series X consoles?
Correct.
Okay. I see. And then I guess in the future you could have Series Y, so on.
Or not even Series, just maybe Series, like maybe next gen will be called Series Y or Series whatever.
I do like that. I feel like that's a smart way to go about it because it implies what the future brings. I don't think it's going to happen right at launch, though.
Oh, I think there will be two consoles at launch. Like I'm do you not remember them?
I do remember
saying
the hype about
No, it wasn't even hype. It was like a set in stone thing. There was like Scarlet, and then there was like a lower tier version of Scarlet.
There was one they were rumored to be working on that was a discless like streaming based console. Yeah.
And I think that's the one that we're gonna see.
They'll probably announce that alongside whatever xCloud turns out to be. You know what I mean? That's my theory.
Oh, you're thinking they're going to wait that long?
Well, no, I think it'll drop with xCloud because if it's a streaming-based platform, you know what I mean? I think it would go hand in hand with their new, improved streaming-based service. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So speaking here, it says that means we may see multiple hardware revisions within the Xbox family, similar to a smartphone model. We don't know the price or release date yet, but Microsoft may reveal those at its E3 2020 presentation. I didn't read this beforehand, by the way, so that's pretty funny that it's like exactly what we were talking about. But no, I think yeah, that I really think there's going to be multiple at launch. And the reason why I think that's a good thing if they do is because they can offer a cheaper version to everyone, for next gen. Like I guarantee you, whatever their like main console is, like whatever this tower one is going to be at least $500 at least. I
mean, like I was saying a minute ago, like, that's some hardware in that thing. You know what I mean? Like,
no matter what, they're selling these consoles at a loss. I feel like they're going to sell them at a loss and then just recuperate with the games that they sell and with Game Pass.
Totally.
And most.
And it's not a loss if they can beat Sony. If they can win the first round of this console war, then it doesn't matter how much of a financial loss they take, because like it'll all come back to them. I feel like, I don't know,
but what I was going to say is I think also that it's not going to be a loss because they're going to have a lesser console that they sell that's still next gen level, but like has some, lesser quality aspects to it, or just a little less powerful. Whatever. This is just my take on it, or what I think will happen.
Yeah.
So like they'll have the $500 one, and then they'll have one that's maybe $400 or like $350. That's just like diskless or whatever. And that's how they're going to undercut PlayStation.
Do you think it'll still be the same like power specs as the Series X?
No, I think it'll be a little bit more powerful than an Xbox One X. But like it'll just be like it'll be next gen. It just won't have the like 12 teraflops or whatever.
I mean, because as it stands, the One X is still pretty powerful console. Like I think even with the next gen rolling around, like One X won't be like, if you have a One X right now, it probably won't be a bad option for at least the first year of the next consoles. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And the fact that they're saying that the Series X will be 2 times the amount of teraflops for like, compared to the One X. If they just did one that was only like, half that, like it'd still be more powerful than the One X.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a middle ground kind of.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's what's going to happen, because I think they really want to go at this generation and take out PlayStation as hard as they can.
But see, the problem, you don't want to spread your eggs too thin. You know what I
True.
mean? Like, it'll be interesting to see how they go about this, and if they go about it that way. It would be smart, because, like you said, it's comparable to cell phones or something. You see cell phone companies do it all the time, especially Apple. They'll release 2 like models of the same phone. Like iPhone 11 has like the 3-camera model and the 2-camera model of the same phone. You know what I mean? They launch simultaneously.
Yeah, there's always a more affordable option with like just a little bit of a discount in power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also, sorry, this is a long part, but this is like our biggest news. So I'm just trying to fit all the Xbox information into one little spot.
Interesting.
So confirmation of Microsoft's backwards compatibility stance with the Series X and its ability to play games from every Xbox generation yet, has happened. That's what we got as the confirmation.
So we more or less knew that.
But we didn't know it was every generation. Remember, because we were like,
we knew it was getting the catalog from the previous Xbox, like what we have already basically is moving forward. So we know we have at least a little representation from every generation of Xbox,
from every gen. In a blog post pinned by Xbox boss Phil Spencer, he states that the Xbox Series X will encompass 4 generations of gaming. The post explains that all currently backwards compatible titles from the original Xbox and the Xbox 360 will be brought forward to this Xbox Series X, while Microsoft is still compiling the list of Xbox One games that will be backwards compatible on day one. Microsoft has not announced any new additions to the Xbox and Xbox 360 backwards compatibility libraries for Xbox One for some time, saying at E3 2019 that the focus was shifting towards backwards compatibility for what we know is the Xbox Series X. What we now know is.
So this is a little concerning to me, actually, because from what I was aware,
or what you thought,
what we've read in previous news articles, that the entire Xbox One catalog should be playable. That's what they've said.
That's what I
us.
thought, too.
That's what they've told us. I mean, like, representatives from Xbox have said that. And now we're saying, okay, we're going to get a list of games that'll be compatible day one.
Yeah, which means that it might or might not come later.
It means we're going to have a fucking situation like our current generation, where we have, like, a handful of, like, good games
backwards.
that are backwards compatible, but not all games.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to happen.
But you have Game Pass now, so
True.
it's like, but will you be able to play those original Xbox games from the Game Pass?
I don't know, but
what do
that
you do?
is one thing Phil Spencer talked about in this interview, is he was mentioning that Game Pass is going to continue to get bigger and better, and they're going to keep putting first-party games on it.
Of course.
So,
but my question is like, if you can play Xbox One version of Descenders on Xbox One through Game Pass, will you be able to play that through the Game Pass on Xbox Series X as well?
I think everything in Game Pass is going to be integrated. That's just my thought. It could
if
end up
not,
being like
that
a
would
Game
be
Pass
so
for PC.
bad.
Because you can't just have a Game Pass for PC, Game Pass for Xbox One, Game Pass for
Yeah.
Xbox Series X. You can't have like 5 different versions of
Yeah.
Game Pass. I don't know.
I
We'll
agree.
see, but
So as it stands, the backwards compatibility library on Xbox One encompasses over 600 games, all of which will work on the Series X. The post also briefly mentions backwards compatibility for hardware and accessories, although the exact details of which peripherals this includes is still vague. And then finally, CD Projekt Red, developer of the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077, has confirmed that it will support it for the latest, for its latest role-playing game. In a tweet, the company stated that gamers should never be forced to purchase the game twice or pay for upgrades, adding that Cyberpunk 2077 will be free on Xbox Series X for Xbox One players when it becomes available. As part of a bundle of new details about the upcoming Xbox Series X, Microsoft has unveiled a brand new feature called Smart Delivery. This is what Cyberpunk 77 is taking.
CD Projekt Red, gamers should never have to pay for the same game twice. Releases Witcher on Switch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they changed their mind, okay? But basically, Smart Delivery is different, my bad. So the feature is designed to make sure that players are downloading the version of the game that corresponds to their Xbox in order to have the best possible experience. Microsoft says that it's committed to using this feature on all of its first-party games, including the upcoming Halo Infinite, which is also coming to Game Pass. This means that players will only have to purchase a given game once in order to play what Microsoft terms the best available version for the Xbox console they choose to play on, even if they upgrade to newer hardware later. This
That's
is
cool.
what Cyberpunk 2077 is doing. So if you buy it on Xbox One, it will also work on Xbox One X, which
Yeah.
is weird to me because it's like,
Well, and again, Phil Spencer mentioned that this is at the developer's discretion. So
Correct.
if we have a developer that wants to make the extra money and divide the two games into two consoles, they
Then
could
they
do
can.
that. Yeah, but
Microsoft first-party titles will all be Smart Delivery.
yeah.
Which is pretty exciting. I think this right here is the biggest threat to PlayStation, in my opinion. If PlayStation doesn't have this option going forward, I think that's going to hurt them.
It also kind of gives players a little bit of comfort about buying games this close to the end of the life cycle of their console.
Yes.
I feel like one of those things, like when it gets close to the holiday season, people are going to be like, do I really want to spend $60, $70 on a brand new game when I'm about to have a whole new console, And it's like, this is a little more incentive for those people, or at least like a safety blanket kind of,
Yeah, for sure. Because if over on PlayStation, The Last of Us 2 comes out so close to the next generation, like, are you going to want to wait and for them to just put out like a remastered version on the new console, or are you really going to go out and buy a older at that point it'll be last gen?
Technically, for sure.
Yeah, who wants to do that? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't sound right. I hope PlayStation has something in store, for this specific situation.
I'm really interested to see what kind of hand PlayStation has right now. You know what I mean?
Right? Because this is the first time I felt like PlayStation actually has some competition. Like, I'm pretty excited for this. This year feels like a real competition. Like last year I felt like, or not last year, but last gen I felt, or like at the start of this current gen, I felt like PlayStation just overwhelmingly wiped the floor with Xbox. There was no competition. It was just like, hey, we have all the fucking games,
See, for me, it wasn't really apparent that PlayStation was taking over this generation until about halfway through the console's life cycle, Because, I jumped right on the Xbox bandwagon, and I wasn't, tied down to one or the other at that point, I would have picked, the one I thought was going to do better. And I was just kind of going with Xbox's previous track record, you know what I mean? At that point, I had enough faith in Xbox to just be like, they're going to do right by everybody. You know what I mean? So
see, me going into this current gen, like I was paying close attention to what everybody was saying, like on the internet and then like podcasts and all that stuff, because everybody that I was listening to was like, yeah, there's no point in buying an Xbox. And I was like, no, y'all are stupid. You know?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's ridiculous.
Xbox is my place. You know, it's my box. And then I bought it and I was screwed. But you know, like I really feel like this time though, like I see like PlayStation, you know, Sony ponies, these fanboys actually being like, damn, you know, Xbox has got something going on over there, you know.
Yeah, but we'd be fools to think Sony doesn't have something going on over there.
No.
You know what I mean? So it'll be, I just can't wait to see what the, like, because I feel like this is going to drive Sony to do more risky stuff. You know, they see the big moves over here in Xbox, they're like, okay, we got to make some big moves too. I don't know. I'm hoping it inspires competition in a good way, you know?
Oh, I hope so too. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. What do you got over there? That's it for all the Xbox news.
Oh, interesting stuff. Okay. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie is already blazing up the box office charts. Ooh. And it was set to improve even further with a release in China on February 28th. However, Paramount has now delayed the release in China due to ongoing concerns about the coronavirus. Due to the current coronavirus situation, the China release date of the film Sonic the Hedgehog will be postponed, and we will re-announce the new release date at a later time. Sonic will only be slowing down his pace temporarily, and we look forward to bringing him zooming onto the big screen in China once it is appropriate to do so, Paramount said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter. So, sorry if you're in China right now trying to watch Sonic the Hedgehog.
You know, something tells me that that's the last thing on their mind right now. As COVID-19 rapidly envelops the country, I feel like maybe there's just one guy trapped in a quarantine somewhere who's like, gotta go fast.
I doubt they're all just sitting at home like, oh, the fucking coronavirus, we're all gonna die. You know, they still have to enjoy their life. You know what I mean? Like, they gotta go out and do fun things, you know?
Have you seen any of the videos coming out of China right now?
I mean, it's crazy down there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think that, like, the government is reporting at least 800 fatalities and like...
Oh, I think it's more than that. I mean, well, maybe in China, but like
worldwide, I'm talking about China specifically.
Yeah.
800 fatalities. But this is just what the government is saying. And nobody trusts their government. Nobody believes it. I don't believe it. You know, but anyway.
Well, definitely don't go to the movie theater right now. You know, I definitely agree that maybe crowded places are probably not the best.
Not the best idea.
But maybe we should do like a limited home release of Sonic so they can all watch it from the comfort of their own home, you know?
Yes. The Chinese government cares that much for their citizens. Anyways, now we're going to jump into this next little bit of info here, if I can get to it. Ginny Zhang at GameSpot says, in a major upset, 7-year-old Simone Lim won the Junior Championship division in the Pokemon Oceania International Championships.
That was the most adorable shit I've ever seen in my entire life, dude.
Hailing from Singapore, Lim beat out last year's winner, an older and a more experienced trainer, Justin Miranda Radbourd, which, by the way, he's like twice her age.
Yeah, I saw that.
A relative newcomer, Lim is in the midst of her first competitive season, making her victory all the more impressive. Her match against Miranda Radbourd was a close one, with the crucial win coming down to the final moments of the third game. In what seemed like the moment Lim might very well lose, Miranda Radbourd eliminated her team down to just Tyranitar, while he still had 2 Pokemon, Rhyperior and Dusclops, remaining. In those final turns, Lim had to make a choice. She could try to knock out Rhyperior, the attacker, and risk it using Protect, or go for the Dusclops first before it could use any of its support moves. Lim correctly predicted Miranda Radbird's turn using Protect on Rhyperior and used Tyranitar's Crunch to knock out Dusclops. The next turn, Lim used Superpower to knock out the Rhyperior, ending the game. Giving an adorable post-game interview, Lim clutched her Eevee plushie while explaining her gameplay and said that she knew Miranda Radbird would protect Rhyperior. And though it seemed like she was reading her opponent so clearly and calmly, Lim admitted that she was nervous after her loss in the second round.
First of all, I wish, I don't know if they had shit like this when I was a kid, but, like, did you watch the video of this?
Yeah, like the actual battle.
Like the battle?
It
was so
I've watched
intense.
a full championship before, like, I can't remember what year it was, but I watched the whole thing.
I didn't realize that it was so legit. Like,
Yeah,
the announcer was, like, sounded, like, really good. Like, it sounded like any kind of, like, professional sport. And she was like, and the Rhyperior's using Protect and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
oh my God.
dude, I was like, I was so into it. And, like, it was like some legit Pokemon battle shit. Like, I don't know, like the feeling of like the crowd and like the fucking, I got excited. I was like, oh shit. Like, I'm not even really into esports, but this was like my childhood right there, dude. Like,
yeah,
and that little girl was so fucking cute with her little Eevee doll, dude. Like, she fucking smoked that guy too. Like, that
which
was
is
great.
crazy because she doesn't look old enough to even like.
No, she's like the little
function.
girl in the games. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're like walking through the path and it's like young lass challenges you, and she like
I like
flies
cute
over the-
Pokemon. You know, but yeah, that. The crazy thing is, if you win worlds, whatever deck you want, like beat the championship in, like if in the card tournaments, they make a deck like based on your deck and sell it like as like the world championship deck.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Anyways, Lim, it says, Lim also thanked her friends, family, and coach for supporting her. I like how she has a coach. Lim took home a minimum of $1,500 for her win, which is a shit ton of money when you're 7.
For sure.
Yeah. And she's earned an invitation to the World Championships in August, so be sure to catch more of her matches then.
Dude, think about that girl has a bright future ahead of her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
7 years old, and she's like...
She's thinking on a strategic level like
Dude,
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's some pretty high tactics.
She could become a sports manager, or she could like become like a general in the army.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm thinking army general for sure.
Homeland Security, dude.
I could see it with her Eevee plushie.
Yeah, she's like, send out a Rhyperior.
She's got my vote.
I don't think do you get voted into Homeland Security?
I don't know. I don't know.
Another thing that
I'm sure there's some kind of vote we could like do.
Yeah,
somebody votes on it. I don't know.
Once again, we're the qualified boys to tell you about game violence. You get voted into the army.
Look, the only thing we don't know geography, okay? We don't know politics.
No.
We know video games.
We know video games. We know where Dathomir is.
Yeah, we
can
know
point
exactly.
out Dathomir on a planetary map any day.
We could show you a star map, planet by planet. Anyways.
Okay.
Let's see. It's not just Sony and Square Enix that are abandoning or scaling back their PAX East plans amid concerns about the coronavirus. Sorry, all this coronavirus news. It's just a big deal right now. Japanese publisher Capcom has announced that concerns around the virus are leading to some changes for the company's plans at the Boston Gaming Show. Not like we know where that is. Hey.
It's in New York, right?
I thought it was in San Francisco. In a statement posted to Twitter, Capcom said members of the Monster Hunter World development team who plan to travel from Japan to Boston for a fan gathering called Monster Hunter Fiesta, or Festa? It doesn't have an I, are no longer going to make the trip. The event will still go on, and there will be some news about the Iceborne expansion, but the developers won't be there for the previously scheduled autograph session. So basically, nobody's going to PAX East or GDC. So
no, and I have to mention this because this is important. The mayor of Boston, where PAX East was going to be held, made a public statement, went on video to reach out to Sony and be like, guys, this is just furthering the stereotype of, the Asian people by you guys not showing up. That is the...
What? That's racist as hell.
The utmost just dumbest shit I have ever heard. I get you don't want to...
Wait, did he really say that?
He really said that. This was on the news today. And as I was reading it, I wanted to slap this man Like, you're really gonna try and play the race card because they don't want to get the coronavirus? Like,
or give the coronavirus?
Or give the coronavirus.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, it's the most ridiculous shit ever. He was saying that them not showing up to the East Coast, I guess, because there's like a big Asian culture there.
He's like, what are you guys, pussies?
He's like dipping his head in like a fucking vase full of coronavirus germs. He's like, look at you, you're just all bitches. That's what you are. But anyways, my point is like, safety first. What in the world?
Yeah.
What in the world? Like,
God.
if you have to be so worried about offending somebody that you will get coronavirus for it, you might as well get coronavirus. I'm just saying, like that's some Darwin shit right there. Like, I don't care. I'll offend any fucking buddy to not get coronavirus. I'm just saying. Anyways, good on you, Sony. Keep doing your thing.
Do your thing, Sony. No judgment here. Okay. It has officially been a year since Red Candle Games was forced to delist its outstanding first-person psychological horror title, Devotion. And there is still no sign that it will ever return. However, Harvard University will be taking steps to ensure that the game and its legacy will be preserved.
Hell yeah.
According to a post from Red Candle's Facebook page, the Harvard Yenching Library in Cambridge, Massachusetts will be... I heard that was around Boston somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. Will be adding both Devotion and its predecessor, harrowing indie horror title Detention, to its collection. The library is home to one of the biggest and most carefully curated collections of historically significant East Asian art in the United States. Famously, Devotion was pulled due to the outrage from Chinese players that the game contained art assets seemingly mocking Chinese President Xi Jinping. I probably butchered that. And pointing out his resemblance to Winnie the Pooh, a sensitive subject in the country. Devotion's removal led to Red Candle Games publisher pulling all support for it and its removal from sale on Steam. All videos of Devotion were also removed from the company's YouTube channel, and Red Candle Games left Weibo, China's biggest social media platform. However, the inclusion of Detention in the library suggests that the games are being inducted less for their controversy, but for being legitimately powerful East Asian art. Both games are used the actual historical backdrop of Taiwan in the 1970s and 1980s to tell their horror stories. With only 10 days on the market, Devotion's legacy has become much like PT's, a game better known for its tragic cancellation than the brilliant, thought-provoking horror experience that it is.
I'm so upset that I'll never get to play this. One of these days we will, though. Something's going to happen to where it's going to get leaked somehow. We're going to get to play this, but
I would love to play it. Surely they could find a way to get like the source code or something and just let us have it. Yeah.
Like, what freedom fighters are out there that are going to get it to us?
That's what I'm saying.
That's so ridiculous to me. That is so ridiculous.
I don't understand why we can't just release it to like Western audiences. Give it to the people who don't give a shit about the whole Chinese controversy. Just don't release it in China.
They don't they don't want to lose some of their credit points. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna go south. Anyways, Richard Wakeling at GameSpot says Popstar Grimes hosted a live stream over the weekend in which she answered a whole host of fan questions. One user asked her about Cyberpunk 2077, and the singer wasn't shy when opening up about her role in the game, revealing more than developer CD Projekt Red is probably comfortable with sharing. As a result, spoilers ahead. So there are some spoilers, guys, for CD Projekt Red. If you're trying to go in blind, you probably don't want to hear this, but it's nothing really crazy.
Spoil it for me.
If you're watching on video, you'll know it's done because I'll put my hand up like this. Like, I learned this from Kevin. So, anyways, let's see. Quote, I did my voice acting for Lizzie Wizzy. That game is going to be fucking good, Grimes explained via Reddit. I mean, I haven't played it, but I saw someone play an hour of the game. I play a pop star who committed suicide on stage, and they had to quickly come and perform emergency surgery and replace my whole body with cybernetics while she was dead for an hour. Then she finished the show as a cyborg, one of the greatest pieces of performance art ever made. Grimes has also recorded music for the upcoming game. She performed the song 4 a.m. During last year's Game Awards. Okay, Yeah, so interesting.
Cool, yeah. That game is going to be so good, dude.
Yeah, I like that
I like
idea.
that little plot line. Yeah, that's cute.
It's pretty interesting. But yeah, what you got?
Okay, so we recently had an Animal Crossing Direct.
Oh, yes.
We learned a few cool things about Animal Crossing. I put a few of the highlights down, but I'm sure you have some other things that you want to talk about.
Full Pokedex. No, I'm just kidding.
I know that they added a tool wheel, which is going to be pretty cool. So you can
helpful.
Go through your tools, and then they got the rescue service they talked about, or if you're lost on the island, they'll come pick you up or something.
Yeah, which I think some people are saying that it's probably because you can terraform the entire island, and you might get stuck while you're terraforming or something, because you can dig holes and open up rivers and do things like that. And you might run out of whatever material you're using to do it and then get stuck. So I think that's what that might be for.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. And then apparently they're going to have holiday events. So, Halloween rolls around. They'll have pumpkins and shit like that.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And then they announced something called Nook Link, where you can, hook your phone up to the game and, text, speech bubbles into the game over your character's head and stuff.
That's pretty interesting. I wonder how they're gonna do that, because Nintendo's notorious for censoring stuff. So
I'm sure they'll have a list of hot keywords that will just bleep themselves out if you do it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, until we come up with new Animal Crossing slang. Call it Nookie.
Oh,
Anyways, is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, James O'Connor at GameSpot. The game developer... this is what he says. The Game Developers Conference, GDC... never mind. We already did that. Sorry. Richard Wakeling at GameSpot says, if you played through any of the Mass Effect trilogy, there's a high probability you played Shepard as a Paragon opposed to a Renegade, at least on the first playthrough. Mm-hmm. And the stats back it up. According to former BioWare cinematic designer John Ebinger, around 92% of players opted to be the good guy in their Mass Effect playthrough. Quote, something like 92% of Mass Effect players were Paragon, and we put a lot of work into the Renegade content too. Sad face.
Well, in all fairness, the Renegade decisions were usually really dick moves.
Well, that's what he said. It said Ebinger wrote in a tweet. It said one Twitter user replied to Ebinger criticizing the morality system's tendency to incentivize sticking to one path over the other. He responded, "Yup, that's why it was changed for Mass Effect 3." Okay. I mean, I don't really know how this is all news, but it's just... I just wanted to see if you played as a Paragon.
I kind of agree with the whole changing it for Mass Effect 3 thing. I know a lot of people didn't like the changes in the morality system for Mass Effect 3, but I personally feel like Mass Effect 2 was a little too black and white. You couldn't just be a renegade sometimes. Yeah, and then... it just didn't work out that way. I don't know. Mass Effect 2 was everybody heralds Mass Effect 2 as the best Mass Effect, but I really personally think the first one is the best one. Even though it's not as pretty as the other ones, I feel the story is the best and the gameplay is the best. I like the first one the most. I don't know.
I think KOTOR is the best Mass Effect.
Right. Pretty much.
Anyways, what you got?
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. This is, okay, Sony's not coming to PAX. We talked about that.
It's the third time I just tried to do that one too.
Oh, gosh. Let's see. Okay. Despite hitting an impressive milestone this month, NVIDIA's GeForce Now subscription service is still experiencing some growing pains. The company has announced that a large portion of Bethesda's software games will be removed from the service. NVIDIA's community manager Corey Banks posted in the company's forums stating that most of Bethesda's titles will be removed from GeForce Now. Banks didn't clarify which titles have been removed, but he noted that Wolfenstein Youngblood will remain available for all subscribers. Founders can still experience the first-person shooter with RTX on. Reports suggest that all of Bethesda's games have been removed. In NVIDIA's forums, players are saying that the games they just bought, be it Doom or Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, have suddenly been removed. And on Twitter, many are sharing similar experiences, with even older games such as Fallout New Vegas getting pulled from their libraries. This news comes a few days after NVIDIA announced that GeForce Now crossed 1 million subscribers. In the announcement post, NVIDIA's general manager Phil Eisler also noted that customers may see developers and publishers opting to remove their games from GeForce Now in the future, but things should taper off eventually.
Well, what about the people that paid
right.
for that shit?
As we approach a paid service, some publishers may choose to remove games before the trial period ends, Eisler said. Ultimately, they maintain control over the content and decide whether the game you purchase includes streaming on GeForce Now.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, others will bring games back as they continue to realize GeForce Now's value. As the transition period comes to completion, game removal should be few and far between, with new games added to GeForce Now each week. Bethesda isn't the only company to have pulled its game from GeForce Now. Activision Blizzard removed its catalog of games from the subscription service earlier this month due to what NVIDIA called a misunderstanding.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds about internet. That sounds about new streaming service.
Right.
Anyways, James O'Connor at GameSpot says, Star Wars is expanding with a series of books and comics exploring a different period from the one we're used to. The High Republic publishing campaign has been announced, and it will consist of several books set 200 years before the Phantom Menace at the height of Jedi rule, power,
so not the
and
old
influence.
Republic, but like
the High Republic, where everyone's smoking that reefer. No, I'm just kidding. This story will be told across novels, children's books, and comics. 5 projects have been announced, including pieces from writers who have previous experience in the Star Wars universe, such as Charles Soule, who did numerous comics, including Lando, Poe Dameron, and Darth Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith, and Claudia Gray, who did Star Wars Leia, Prince of Alderaan, and 3 other books. They are Star Wars The High Republic, Into the Dark, Claudia Gray young adult novel, Star Wars The High Republic, A Test of Courage, and Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I don't care. Anyways, the purpose of picking this time is that the writers can have a lot of creative freedom. It does not overlap with any established canon period or character, so the attached writers are able to do whatever they want without worrying about the other Star Wars works out there. LucasArts president Kathleen Kennedy promises that these works will cover a more hopeful, optimistic time, but also that there will be more traditional Star Wars conflict as well. But of course, into this glorious new era, something wicked this way comes. I don't like the more hopeful, optimistic thing. Like,
well, I at first, like, when she said it like that, I'm like, ew, gross. But at the same time, you got to think a lot of modern Star Wars is like really dark. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I do think that like there's room for like a more lighthearted Star Wars series. You know what I mean?
What's dark about modern Star Wars?
Not necessarily dark, but I mean let's be real. Mandalorian's a little like more, you know, I don't know, gritty than normal Star Wars. And like the Rogue One seemed a little like darker and like, I don't know, just maybe I'm crazy, but like the most recent trilogy felt a little like darker, you know? Like you know how like the third movie, like not the like if you were to put them all chronologically, the third movie the one where Anakin turns
Return
into Vader.
of the Jedi?
No, not like the actual third movie, like episode 3. You know how like episode 3 was much darker than 1 and 2? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I get
feel
what
like
you're saying.
The past trilogy, the most recent trilogy, has had that same kind of feel. You know what I mean? Whereas like 1 and 2, and then like 4 or 5 and 6 all
so
felt
whenever you say 1 and 2, you mean the Phantom Menace, right? You're talking about the actual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phantom Menace, Clone Wars.
I was so confused for a second.
Sorry, like I'm just thinking chronologically here.
Talking about Final Fantasy 3 in Japan, or are you talking about Final Fantasy 3 in America? No,
you're right.
No, but I get what you're saying. I don't think it's it's definitely not dark. Something about it is just more like they're trying to. I don't even know. Like, I don't know what these like new 3 movies even are, like, because they're so kind of back and forth on what they want to be between the 3 films that like it never really reached a point where I was like, oh God, this is dark. You know, there was so much ridiculous humor in it.
Yeah,
like,
but just the vibe, you know, like, I mean, when I say dark, I not just like the plot points, but like the actual like look of the show. Like,
like the color grading.
Yeah,
and stuff.
like everything looks like serious and dark, like, whereas like, okay, the only recent thing I can think of Star Wars wise that isn't like, doesn't have that feeling to it is the Han Solo movie, and that didn't do very well. You know what I mean?
True. Also, Battlefront or Battlefront.
The game?
Yeah, it's not that dark.
No. Yeah, I guess you got a good point there. But I just feel like, it's okay if we have another, like, Phantom Menace or something, I wouldn't mind having something a little more lighthearted in the Star Wars world.
Man.
Or, like, Clone Wars.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Qui-Gon Jinn dies in the Phantom Menace, and that's like the darkest thing that's ever happened in Star Wars.
Fair enough. But at the same time, like, the whole look of it and, like, Naboo and, like...
You're just talking about artistic direction.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about, like... Because
the story
Star Wars is Star Wars, regardless.
Yeah.
People are going to have lightsaber fights, like...
People gonna die.
Yeah. Okay, it's just going to happen.
Bullets gonna fly. No, I get what you're saying. I agree. I just hope that, like, with the, like making it brighter in the artistic sense doesn't take away from the weightiness of the story. Like, I want serious story, but I don't, I guess I wonder what's really going to be happening. This is like way before, like Plagueis even, or maybe it might be around the same time, like that's probably what's going to happen.
They're probably just going to make up some random bullshit that has nothing to do with anything. Like,
what if they had to fight dinosaurs?
They're just dinosaurs.
Star Wars-osaurus. No. Anyways, what you got?
Good. All right. For the first free update of 2020 has arrived for No Man's Sky. Titled The Living Ship, this latest update gives players a new way to traverse across the universe by hopping aboard sentient creatures. The Living Ship update adds the first new starship to No Man's Sky since Atlas Rises, but these egg-born crafts are obviously a little different from anything that's come before. Players who fancy incubating, growing, and flying their own living vessel can visit the space anomaly and follow the call of the void egg. This will kick off a series of new missions that explore the ancient Korvax experiments that led to the birth of these interstellar beings, where you can also get your own.
Wow.
Thank
you. Thank you. So we got this from Eddie McCooch at GameSpot. He says, Drew McCoy, we've already did this. Gosh, we got a lot of the same news today. Hold up, my bad. Okay. Where are we at? What do I got? GameSpot. James O'Connor. He says, Intelligent Systems' Fire Emblem series had an extremely strong 2019, with Fire Emblem Three Houses earning critical acclaim and the best launch sales figures in the series history. Meanwhile, the mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes has made
No, I'm just kidding.
has made more money than any other Nintendo mobile game. This success has allowed Intelligent Systems to grow, according to their updated company profile, which is in Japanese but has been translated and summarized by Siliconera. The developer now has 169 employees, the highest number they've ever had. This includes 68 graphic designers and 63 programmers. This figure has grown from the 130 employees that the company had in 2011 before the release of the very popular Fire Emblem Awakening. The studio is also employing more women than ever before, now making up 31% of the team.
Great.
Yeah. It's such a random stat to throw in.
That's cool.
Like, I was hoping they were hiring women. Like, I didn't need to know the exact stat. Were they, like, before?
31% doesn't even seem like that impressive of a stat.
Were they not hiring women before? Like, it's like, well, we have money now, so we can finally afford women.
We are no longer sexist.
Yeah. We did so well, it changed our whole view on women.
We can afford to have a couple broads around the office. No.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
But for real, why was that mentioned? Yeah. Anyways, what do you got?
This is really cool, actually. A new patch for the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on Nintendo Switch has added support for cross saves with the PC version of the game. Now you can play the best version of the game at home and still play the great Switch version to continue your venture on the go. And if you don't already own it, then Amazon has a great deal that is absolutely worth snagging. So that's pretty cool. It's a good incentive to buy it again, too, if you're like, I don't know. thinking about buying it again, and you already have it on PC.
For sure. Jeremy Winslow at GameSpot says, despite hitting... Oh, never mind. What? Man, I am so sorry, guys. This has been just like one after another. Brent's already named them off. Okay, so Steve Watts at GameSpot says, a new Xbox One dashboard update is now available, and it makes some big changes to the familiar user interface. The new design is simplified and more vertically oriented, having nixed the series of tabs that would cycle with the shoulder buttons in the old dash. By default, the new dashboard has your recently opened games and apps appear right out front, and scrolling down opens tabs for Xbox Game Pass, Store, Community, Mixer, and Xbox Live Gold. You can also select the Add More function to customize with additional rows from your own groups, clubs, and so on. If you aren't interested in having a given row, they can be removed, even the default ones. The new update also includes image support and messaging conversations and increased control over where notifications appear through the settings menu. Other subtle tweaks come to Xbox Game Pass, which lets you download an individual game from within a bundle. You also get more flexibility when moving games around using external storage. Microsoft rolled out this update to Xbox Insiders in January with a planned full release in February. The update will be automatically applied if you have automatic updates, or you can start it manually through the system menu.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like we're getting so close to next gen, like they're just trying out new stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they might as well. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Anyways, what you got? I'm out of news. You just keep going.
Okay, I got a couple more. Let's see. Grand Theft Auto 4. They took it off of Steam a little while back, but it is back now. You can play it again on Steam, so rejoice if you're a GTA 4 fan. They have, however, deactivated the multiplayer. It's actually not available yet. It's coming March 19th. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know there was multiplayer in GTA 4.
I didn't either, but apparently there were some people that are really bummed about it not being there anymore, but,
Like, what? Like,
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Has it always been there, or was that just a PC thing? Like,
I think it was there. I just think it was more limited than Grand Theft Auto 5.
5, yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's see. The upcoming SpongeBob prequel series, Camp Coral, now has a premiere date. Nickelodeon has confirmed that the new animated show will debut in July, according to The Hollywood Reporter. As announced previously, Camp Coral focuses on a 10-year-old SpongeBob and specifically his adventures at an overnight camp called Camp Coral.
Is Patrick going to be there?
Yes. There will be 13 episodes in the first season. Nickelodeon has also confirmed that Camp Coral is bringing back the main voice cast, including Tom Kenny, Bill Fagerbakke, Roger Bumpass.
That's going to be interesting to hear how they do their
like
own version of
like
Patrick as a like, how are you going to do a baby Patrick? Or
I don't know, but I bet it's going to be good.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm ready.
I am ready.
I'm ready. No.
And they're also bringing in some new voice actors from Rocko's Modern Life and Naruto and stuff. So that new talent. It's going to be good.
Nice.
Let's see. World of Horror has come to Xbox Game Pass for PC today. Every now and then, Xbox Game Pass will drop a game without any previous fanfare or announcement, which is always a nice surprise. The early access version of World of Horror has just joined the service, bringing a lo-fi black and white scares to users worldwide. So if you're playing on PC, check that out. And there you go.
Sweet. All right, we don't have that much today in this week's releases, but I'm about to let you know what brand new games you can grab in the next 7 days. So we're going to start with Nerved, coming to PC on March 2nd. Couldn't find a price. Nerved is I'm going to read it how they wrote it. Nerved is first-person horror game about a paranormal investigator couple and their latest adventure in the Bitterwood Forest.
Make your voice like more Norwegian when you do it. You need...
how does that say? Dieselask?
There you go.
How's here? Give me a
start from the top. Nerve is. Do Russian. Try Russian.
Okay, I'm not good at a Russian one. I don't know. Hold on. Nerved. nerved. That's like French, like nerved is the first-person horror game about a paranormal investigator couple and their latest adventure in the Bitterwood Forest. This last case that they have chosen to persuade will deliver a charnel impact on the couple's fate, both personally and professionally. Nerved features immersive atmospheric environment and large forest area with lots of houses and interior locations as well. There we go. Use your map to investigate through now I'm turning into Shrek. This dense forest while avoiding 3 different types of enemies who will stalk you with their advanced navigational skills. Okay.
Doesn't sound terrible.
And then we got Curse of the Dead Gods coming to PC on March 3rd. Couldn't find a price.
I thought you were going to say Curse of the Dead Guy.
It's like it's just they couldn't think of anything. Curse of the Dead Gods is a roguelike action game full of fast-paced combat, intense challenges, and a variety of weapons, relics, curses, traps, enemies, and powerful bosses to master. Seek untold riches, divine powers, and eternal life. Then rise to fight again when your greed leads to death. Delve deeper into a cursed, ever-changing labyrinths of bottomless pits, deadly traps, and malicious monsters. Slay the false deities to amass gold, new weapons, and mighty relics, but beware the corruption building inside you with each step forward. These curses promise great power, but demand a high price. So, with great power comes great responsibility.
Man.
And then
Spider-Man game sounds lit.
Yeah, dude. And then we got Grand Blue Fantasy Versus coming to PS4 on March 3rd for $59.99. In Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, power, skill, and spirit collide in a quest to find the true champion of the ring. In this fighting game set in the world of Grand Blue Fantasy, players can take on AI opponents or fight against human opponents in local or online 2-player matches. Characters entering into battle in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus include Gran, the protagonist of Grand Blue Fantasy, who travels the skies with his winged companion, Vern. Lyria, the mysterious girl who saved his life. Catalina, an ex-Imperial knight sworn to protect those she holds dear. Charlotta, the virtuous captain of the Lumiel Order of Holy Knights. Lancelot, a dual-wielding master swordsman. And lastly, Fairy, a ghost with a whip and spectral pets.
Spectral pets. He's just ripped like...
Not pecs.
I know.
I thought you thought I said pecs for real. I was like, I wish I had spectral pecs. No, but, we got whole frame.
Ghostly biceps.
Undead triceps. Whole Frame is coming to PS4 on March 3rd. Couldn't find a price for it. Whole Frame is a 3 versus 3 hero shooter with a special all-in-one mode. Prepare for dynamic events, missions, and changing characters through the match. Play and be the best.
Demonic deltoids.
Okay, that's it. That's all the games coming out this week. Thank God. Sometimes I don't even care. I don't, it's like the games are just so bad sounding that I'd rather no games come out that week.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if all of these bad developers got together and just
made a
focused
good game.
all their effort, on making one game that didn't suck, maybe it would be more worth it.
Maybe. Just maybe. And then we're going to jump on over to Currently Playing, where we're going to let you know what we've been playing this week. And you can let us know what you've been playing in the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/GameSpeak podcast, or you can just drop it in the comments on the video or wherever, and we'll see it. We'll reply to you and be like, yo, dude, we didn't play that. No, but just kidding. But anyways, I guess I'll start it off because I didn't play much, but I did play a game called Descenders. Both of these games that I played are on Game Pass, by the way. But Descenders is like a downhill bike racing stunt game. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like if you took Tony Hawk Downhill Jam and put it on mountain bikes. And like you just like go down these mountains.
That sounds really fun. I wanted to ask you on the other podcast, but like the lag and stuff, is it like super realistic looking? Like
yeah, well, no, it looks realistic. It's not like it has insanely good graphics.
Yeah,
but it looks they're attempting to make it look real, and in the game. It plays with like super realistic physics, so like you'll go flying if you like make one mistake. It's kind of like if you took Trials, like that game, and put it behind your shoulder, and like you
Are you pretty close to your shoulder?
Yeah, you can be.
That sounds really cool, actually. This sounds way cooler than I was imagining. Like,
oh, dude, it's really fun. And
this is on Game Pass?
Yeah, this is on Game Pass. Go download it.
Did they just add it, or has it been there?
It's been there for a while.
Oh, okay.
But the like the cool thing about the campaign is like it shows you like a map like of like this mountain, and you start with like it's like you have like a little circle. And you go to that first level, and then afterwards it like branches off into like different places. You can decide which one you want to go to. Like it'll be like this one has more stunts, this one has this, and it's all procedurally generated. So like it'll be like this will be a stunt based level, or this one's like a speed based level, and you make your way across this like map, and at the end you have like a boss jump that you have to do. And like on each level that you go into, there's like a secondary objective you can do, where like the main objective is just get to the end of the race without like falling 3 times. Like if you fall 3 times, your whole career ends. Like you have to restart. you literally have to restart. And like you can get sponsors and all this stuff. It's actually really fun.
That sounds really cool.
Really tight game. And then Battle Chasers Night War. This game I downloaded because I went and looked at the reviews on the Microsoft Store, and everybody was like, dude, this game is a hidden gem. And like and so I was like, whatever, it's on Game Pass. It's $40 if you don't get it on Game Pass. Anyway, so I downloaded it. It's a great game, dude. It's really good. It's like a modern day Final Fantasy, like a classic Final Fantasy, you know.
Is the story pretty good?
I like the story. I'm getting like, I get major like anime, like comic book vibes from the story, and it's like, it's done really well. Like, it's almost like I guess the anime that I would like equate it to, like in the way that it looks and feels, would probably be something similar to like Avatar, but like I don't know how to explain it.
That sounds pretty good.
It's really tight, you know. And so like you go around like on it's almost like a Mario Party map to like go to these different areas, and then like there will be like big bubbles that like are like bad guys, and the more we walk into it, it goes down. It's like Fire Emblem, like or just like any RPG, it goes into that. And then like, or you'll go to a different spot, and it's like, oh, this is like a dungeon. Do you want to go in here and search around or whatever? It's really tight. It's tight.
That sounds tight. I'm gonna have to check that out.
But that's what I've been playing. I played something else, but I can't remember. So I guess it wasn't that great. Anyways,
not that important.
No, what you got?
So I've been playing The Evil Within. I've made a lot of progress. I'm getting there, doing my thing with that. I'm really enjoying it, actually. I've never gotten this far into it before. I played a little bit of the beginning a couple times back in the day, but it's actually kind of got me hooked. And not necessarily for the story or anything.
It's
like
the gameplay.
It's the gameplay. I'm really into like upgrading my character a lot, and like the boss fights are really interesting, and the combat's really punchy.
It really loses the scares like literally like 2 hours in. Like it's no longer scary 2 hours in.
It's not very scary. No, I mean every now and then it kind of gets me. Like something will pop out at me, and I'll do a little. You know what I mean? But it's not like, it's not like Resident Evil where I was like legitimately like
scared.
I don't really want to even keep going. You know what I mean? Like,
there's never a part in this game, like, honestly, it reaches a point to where you know what every enemy is gonna do. Like, it's not a mystery anymore.
Yeah.
So like, but the gameplay is so fun that you just want to keep going.
Yeah, and the actual, like, I mean, the story is interesting enough to where I'm like, I don't really know what the fuck is going on, but I think I'm not supposed to, really. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not really going to try and spoil this for you, but I'm going to tell you that it doesn't matter because you don't get the full story in the game. Like, you have to play the DLC to finish the story. Like, which is some straight bullshit, dude.
It's probably not very expensive, though, if I did want to play it.
But it's ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. Well, either way, I got it, and I'm playing through it, and I'll probably finish it pretty soon. I've been playing a couple of VR games, because you know me. I have been playing Robo Recall, which is really good. You're basically just killing robots. Like you're going into like the city, and the robots have all gone crazy, and you're killing the robots. You're recalling the robots. So it sounds dumb, but it's so much fun. You can like take the robots and like rip their fucking arms off and like beat them with it and shit, and like dodge bullets, and you can like grab the bullets out of the air and like throw them back at the robots, and like it's really neat. It's a lot of fun, and when I finally get my PC set up, it's cross-buy, so I can play like the computer version of it, which should look and play even better.
Nice.
So that's exciting. And I got Path of the Warrior for VR, which is kind of like Double Dragon or something in VR. Like you're
like a beat 'em up?
It's like a beat 'em up, yeah. Like the first level, you're in like a bar and you're like beating up all the guys, and like you throw them through the walls and shit, and like you're saving people. And then there's like a boss fight at the end of every level. It's got co-op. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a smart idea for VR.
It really plays well. I feel like, a lot of the more basic game like genres work well in VR. Like the beat 'em up works well. I've noticed like just basic shooters work really well in VR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even like light gun shooters, like where you're just sitting in one spot and it moves for you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, a lot of these like early concept, games like from like normal gaming really work well in VR. I don't know.
I feel like you could do a really cool Space Invaders where like you're in a ship and it's just like you can only move vertically and like shoot the
It's
aliens.
funny you say that. In that Path of the Warrior game, one of the bosses you fight is this dude, and he like goes into arcade games, and like you have to like play this like miniature version of the arcade game to like get to him. And like one of them is a Space Invaders thing, and you have to like physically like walk left and right to like move your thing, and you punch a little button and it shoots a bullet off towards the Space Invaders that are coming at you.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
That's but imagine you're in the ship and like you gotta
that would
shoot
be sick.
and like ignite shields. Like you only have a certain amount of shields per level and like stuff like that. Like
or like Centipede.
Oh yeah, dude!
Where
You're
you,
just
like,
running
look
from a
behind
giant
you.
ass centipede.
Well, you are the centipede, and you like look behind you and see your tail growing. You know what I mean? Like as you like eat the thing,
that
and
makes sense. That's actually tight.
I think that would be cool. And then I played a game called Wander, which isn't really a game. It's more like Google Earth in VR. Basically, you can just type in anywhere in the world, and it takes you to like the Google Street View of that place. But it puts it in like a 360 picture around you. So like you can go to like. I walked straight through Huntsville the other day. It was cool. Like I typed in just like my street in Huntsville, and you can just push forward and it'll like take you down the road, like segment by segment. I don't know. It's really cool, and you can like travel times. Like you can go like Huntsville has had like 3 times when it was mapped out. So there's like a 2008, a 2013, and a 2018.
Oh wow! What does 2008 look like, dude?
Well, most of the pictures from 2008 are really blurry, but it's really, really interesting. Like you can like go and you'll see like landmarks. You know how much Huntsville's changed since 2008.
Is Hastings still there?
Oh, I didn't even go look. That's what I'm gonna do when I get home.
Yeah, go look at Hastings,
dude. It's really cool though. I went to Tennessee and like looked at all the places I used to go to out there. I don't know, and you can go anywhere in the world, like I went to like Cozumel and like walk down the street in Cozumel. It's a really neat app, and it'd be a cool way to like plan your next vacation or something, or just like revisit like some place from your childhood. I don't know, it's really, really neat, and I highly recommend it.
Damn, that's cool.
And it was only $10 or something like that, so totally worth it.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Awesome. All right, so let us know what you've been playing. Like I said, facebook.com/group/GameSpeak podcast. Now we're going to jump into the topic of the show, the meat and potatoes. And today's topic is our most rented games of childhood. We were originally like, let's do our most rented games of the 90s. And then we were like, oh, yeah, we weren't really renting games in the 90s because I never rented a game for my SNES or anything like that. I didn't rent games until the N64, which came out in 2001, I think. It was 2001.
I had the PS1, which I think was that 99 or was that 2000? I'm not sure.
I could be wrong. Hold on. Let me see when the N64 came out, because what if this whole time I was wrong.
Either way, most of our renting was like late 90s, late 90s, early 2000. You know what I mean? Like, if it is in the 90s at all...
Oh my god, it was first released in Japan in 1996, but it came out in the US, I think, in 1996 as well. So we could have done 90s and then split did 2000s, but we're just doing all of childhood.
Yeah, I think generally it's all just a big blur for me anyway.
Me too. Exactly. So do you want to start it off, or you want me to start it off? What do you want to
kick it off
if
you want. Okay. So my first one is actually, I don't know why I rented this game so much, because it's not like my favorite game ever or anything, but like I used to rent the N64. Before I actually had an N64, I would go to Hastings and I would rent a whole N64.
Yeah.
For like, it was like $25, you got the thing for the week or whatever, you know, and it was a lot of fun. Like, I'd have friends over, we'd all play. It was great. But every time I got it, I would rent Clay Fighter 63 1/3 every time. Like, I would rent it with it. And so I have to put it on my list because it's technically one of my most rented games.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but I don't even know why. I think I just got it because it was multiplayer and all my friends like to play it with me and stuff, you know?
No, that's a really good one. Definitely, like, fighters were such a big thing back then, you know?
And this one, it was cool because it had Earthworm Jim in it, and everybody loved Earthworm Jim, you know what I mean? So it's like...
So true. Some of mine are kind of like... Actually, two of mine are kind of like a cheap way of doing this, but, like, I feel like...
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I had to do what I have to do here because I can't remember any one specific that I did more than the other, but I put sports games just because in general, like, I would never buy sports games.
No.
But I always wanted to play, like, Blitz and stuff like that, so I would rent Blitz, NBA Street, SSX, like, all those games I rented, like, like, it was just every week I had one of those games just rented, that I would never pay for or, like, never get my parents to buy because I would want to put it towards something better, or something more with, like, a full story. But, like, I was always renting Blitz. I remember that. And, like,
Blitz was a fun game, man.
Oh, yeah. Sports games in general, like, is just one of mine.
If I didn't own Blitz, it definitely would have been one of those I rented a lot. Like, I was playing it constantly on the N64, like...
Oh, yeah, dude. And on the original Xbox.
I went back and played the emulator for Blitz pretty recently on that little True Blue mini stick I got, and it's still fun. Yeah. It's still a lot of fun.
I have it for the Dreamcast.
Really?
Yeah, I have it. Like, on Dreamcast, the original Blitz. Oh,
it's probably played better on Dreamcast than it did on PlayStation, I bet.
It's fun. It's still fun. Anyways, what you got?
So my number 4 is another one that's a little weird. I don't know why I rented this game so much as a kid. I think because it just was like, it invoked like a sense of mystery and really got my imagination going and got me excited. Fable. The original Fable. I was absolutely obsessed with this game. I wanted to get all the demon doors open. I wanted to, like, learn all the mysteries, I beat this game several times, and I would just rent it, and, like, every time I get the urge, I would rent it, because it was, like, the perfect, like, time period. Like, back in the day, I would rent a game, and you get it for 7 days, And 7 days was, like, the perfect amount of time for me to do a full playthrough of Fable. You know what I mean? So every time I'd get that, like, wild hair to, like, play through Fable, I would just rent it and just smash it for like a whole week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that was like Oblivion before Oblivion.
Dude, for like, real. Except I think Oblivion was out. Yeah.
but it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It had like a different feel to it, but it was like similar in the way that you would look at Oblivion and be like, oh, Fable as well. Like...
Totally.
For some reason.
It had a charm to it, man. It was like it's had that same like mysterious feel like when you first became adult Link in Ocarina of Time. I got that same feeling from Fable. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And it also had like the more mature aspect to it though, which made it so much cooler.
Mixed with the like kiddish cartoon graphics. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was cool.
My other kind of cheap one, I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way, is GTA knockoffs. So like I always I would buy the GTA games, but I would always rent like True Crime, Simpsons Hit and Run, and Mafia and stuff like that. Those were rentals for me. Like, I never bought Mafia. I didn't buy Simpsons Hit and Run until I was an adult, and like I could go buy it myself. And then True Crime, I just never owned. It was always a rental.
friend Dakota had all of those knockoff GTA games at his house
Yes.
back in the day. I would just go over to his house and I would play Simpsons Hit and Run and fucking Mafia 2 specifically, I think.
Yes, Mafia 2, the first place I played it was at Dakota's. And then I went home and rented it for myself because it was like one-player campaign, you know? So, like, I wasn't about to jump in Dakota's game. So, like,
I remember
I just
thinking
watched
that
him
was so
playing it.
next level when we were watching him playing that back in the day. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I
For
remember
real.
thinking, like, the fact that if you sped and the cops would go after you was, like, next level, you know?
Oh, my
like,
gosh.
if you went over a certain speed limit, they would, like, they'd come
If
get
you went over 20 miles an hour because all the cars could only go like 40.
That was, like, the most annoying mechanic ever.
It really was.
Like, in hindsight. At the time, I was like, you know, as a kid, I was like, oh, that's cool. But now as an adult, I'm like, okay, that was dumb.
Fuck that.
Why would they do that? All right. That's cool. So my number 3 is gonna have to be Marvel Nemesis for the Xbox.
I bought that shit. I didn't rent that one.
See, here's the weird thing about Marvel Nemesis, though, is there was like 4 different versions of the game that were all drastically different. Like, I had the PSP version. I owned it. You know what I mean? But the Xbox version looks so much better than the PSP version.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's and the GameCube version. I mean, it was just
True.
like it was leaps and bounds better than the other versions of the game. You know, so even though I like really enjoyed the PSP version of it, I would like constantly be renting the Xbox one so I could play like the upgraded version of it. You know what I
It was
mean?
beautiful on the Xbox.
Was so good. Like the way it looked. Oh man, I would love a remake of that. Like,
Please give it to us. The other game that I rented a lot was for the GameCube, and it was called Dragon Ball Z. Dang it, I already forgot. I didn't write it down because I thought I would just like know it.
it was for the GameCube.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look up what the GameCube game was. I can't even remember what the game was called anymore.
I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
It's Sagas, Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Ah.
I didn't want to mix it up with the other other 20 Dragon Ball Z games,
Right.
but Sagas was the one that I got the most because it had co-op, and me and my brother would just play it a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
But then whenever he didn't want to play because he was out playing basketball or something, I could still play it on my own and still enjoy it. That game got like a 4 out of 10 on every review site, but like I loved it, dude. I don't know why.
Bro, there's a lot of older games like that I guess I just really liked and didn't care about reviews. You know, like what's that game where you're like fighting and making a movie?
Kung Fu Chaos.
Kung Fu Chaos, dude. That game reviewed so bad, and like
It was so good.
It was so good, dude.
Like that's I think we were just too young to look at things critically.
Sure.
You know, unless it was really bad, you know, like
But also, I think we were young enough to like. I mean, we were old enough to like play the game for like how it should be played. I really think like I don't know. Like, we weren't looking at, like, the technical aspects of it, but we were having a lot of fun with that game. Like, there's something to be said there. You know what I mean? Like,
and we also knew when games had good or bad graphics, too. You know,
yeah.
It's not like we looked at it and we were like, you know, like we couldn't tell it looked bad or something.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought the game was stylized and it played well and it was funny. You know, maybe it was just because of we were still children, so we found it humorous. Like, maybe adults looking at it were like, this isn't that funny. You know?
Maybe.
You know, that's what I think the difference is. It's like we were still like little kids and we were just like, yeah, this is great.
But see, even if that's the case, you know, they did a good enough job to like know their audience. You know, because that was, I don't know.
That was perfect. I love that. But yeah, mine was Sagas. So what you got?
For number 2, okay, now we're starting to get into like my heavily rented games. You know what I mean? So number 2, I rented this game like every weekend. Like fucking like when Hastings was still at that one place where they had the like Pokemon card tournaments over by Grand Buffet. Like I would go in there like every other weekend and get this game. It was Pokemon Snap. I was fucking obsessed, dude. I would rent it and I would take my shit over to Blockbuster and print my pictures. I was like really, really into Pokemon Snap. I found like the secret Mew level and stuff. I was like getting all the secrets, and that was what made that game so intriguing to me. Is all the hidden secrets in every level, you know, in a time where you couldn't just look it up online.
Yeah, you got to throw the Pokeballs just right.
Yeah, and like it was like one of those games with like everybody in the schoolyard would be telling you like, oh no, if you throw this into the volcano, something will come out of the volcano, or oh, if you throw this at the
true.
Yeah, and like sometimes it was true, sometimes it wouldn't be true, depending on the like what they were telling you in the schoolyard. Like, oh, you throw 4 rocks in the water, Gyarados will come out with a Mew on his back doing a backflip. Like, it's not all.
If you throw one at the door, my uncle who works at Nintendo will come out.
But I don't know. I love that game. Or like whenever you like roll up on the Dittos and you like throw the stuff at them. And
what were you throwing in that game? You weren't throwing Pokeballs. What were you throwing?
You had several things you could throw. You could throw apples.
That's what it was, apples.
You could throw apples. You could throw these like gas balls. And then you could also throw... There was something else you could throw. But like one of them would like irritate the Pokemon. One would like give them something to eat, and you get like bonus points for them doing a cute little like eating thing. And then one was just like a get their attention kind of thing or something. I don't know. It was interesting. Like,
yeah, very interesting. First time we saw Pokemon in 3D. Like on a video game.
Oh man, I love that game.
One of my other games is State of Emergency. I rented this game so much until the point that like we were just like, we just need to buy this, but I loved playing it. It's whenever I got the Xbox finally, and we would just sit up the stairs in our little game room playing this game, like with Trapped blaring in the background for some reason, like because on the original Xbox you could just have your music playing in the background no matter what game you were playing.
I was about to say, in all fairness, like pretty much every game we played had Trapped blaring in the background.
It was like it would literally be, it would go between Switchfoot, Trapped, and Blink 182. It was just like the most
It was always that song that's like, suckle in the head.
Got the blade in everything you ever said. Now I see that. But anyway, so yeah, we could probably do that whole album from front to back.
No doubt.
Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, that's it for that one. I have one more, but what do you got?
All right, so my number one. Okay. I rented this game so much that Hastings literally kept a copy of it in the back for me. Like, I would go in, and I'd be like, it wouldn't be on the shelf, and I'd be like, can I get the copy in the back? And they'd be like, yes. Every single time.
How do you know about the copy in the back?
I just knew. And, like, I always got it every time I went in there. I'm pretty sure they kept it there just for me. I'm like 85% sure that it was, like, either that or, like, I don't know. But I spent more money renting this game than I would have if I had just bought it straight up. Super Smash Brothers.
Yes, dude.
Original Super Smash Brothers for N64. I'm talking, I rented this game so much.
That's my last one, too, as well as Super Smash Bros. 64. So.
Man, dude. This was like, it was so good compared to, like, all the other games on the N64. It was just like, I don't know. It was just like a magical feeling when playing it. It felt so crispy, and like I was always trying to unlock everything. I don't know. I just loved it.
Yeah, me too, dude. I didn't even get to own that game. I didn't own my first Super Smash Brothers until Melee.
I was going to say, I remember when you got Melee, because we were both freaking out about that.
That was next level. I like I said, I still, I've mentioned this multiple times. I still remember to this day sitting on my staircase, talking to you on the landline phone.
Bro, I was sitting on my staircase. I remember this too. Yeah.
Just be like, okay, dude, you're going to get the Xbox. I'm going to get the GameCube, and I'll get Melee. You get, I forget which game you were supposed to get.
Bro, I remembered how, like, the air smelled whenever we were having that conversation. Like,
isn't that crazy?
It's weird, yeah.
That, like, set us down the paths for the rest of our lives. Like, of video games. And, like, I just remember, like...
That was smart on our part, though, as kids.
Like splitting it up?
We knew what we were doing. Like, we had the best of both worlds, you know what I mean? Like...
Hell yeah, dude. And, like, we would go over to your place and just play Xbox. You come over to mine and we play Super Smash Brothers.
Dude, yes.
Like, oh, dude, those were the good days, bro.
Dude, for real.
Dylan, Dakota, like Steven Myers, bro.
Oh, man.
The gang.
The gang was all there.
The nerdy ass gang, bro. Anyways,
I've got a couple of honorable mentions I can throw out there real quick if you want.
Yeah, name them off.
Okay, so I got to name off Fight Night Round 3. I was going to mention this when you were talking about the sports games.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It was one of those games, like, you know how obsessed I am with that UFC game. Before the UFC game, I was into the Fight Night games, and I'm pretty sure
I
it's
think
the same
Ready to
people.
Rumble though. Ready to Rumble
Ooh,
boxing. Bro.
Fuck, I forgot about I actually owned Ready to Rumble boxing.
I remember.
Round 2, dude. And that was like my game. Oh, I love that game, man. That's a deep seated memory right there.
Hell yeah, bro.
Burnout Takedown. I love that game.
Oh, good call.
Rented it quite frequently. And Advent Rising. And I only rented this because somewhere in my childhood brain, I thought I was going to win the $1 million.
Nobody won. Nobody won that $1 million.
That's so sad.
Because
dude.
it didn't sell enough. It was, they made that game saying that it was going to be the Halo killer. Like,
that's like hilarious. Like,
it's funny. I've gone back and because I was there the first time you rented it, because we wanted to try and win that $1 million.
Yeah.
I remember the guy at whichever rental store, I think it was Hastings, was like, yeah, you can win $1 million with this game or whatever. And us being like, fuck, dude, we're going to win the $1 million.
Dude, we were going to stay up all night and win that $1 million, dude. Like,
and the game was so bad. So boring. Yeah, but I've watched a lot of videos on that game ever since just because it's always intrigued me.
There is some really interesting shit about that game. Like, if you go and see some of the, locked doors and stuff like that behind it, like hidden areas and things like that. Because I think they did intend to do, a big contest for the $1 million or something, but it just didn't, all come together or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to come up with the $1 million. I guess they thought it was going to sell way more than it did. But yeah, I guess one of my honorable mentions is Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, man.
You owned it, but I did not, right? You owned it.
I think Chelsea owned it. Either way, it was around a lot.
Yeah. But it was one that, I had Mario 64, but I wasn't about to buy Diddy Kong Racing. But
dude, yeah.
Once you got one kart racer, you can't have the other.
I was about to say, I think I had Mario Kart, so I didn't really, need both of them.
It wasn't worth it when I was a kid. But anyways... that's it for the topic of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know some of yours. Actually, before we leave this, I do know some of yours. I'm going to go ahead and read off the ones. I forgot I even asked that. I'm glad I thought about that just now. But according to you guys, I asked, what games did you rent the most as children? And Gallium RR says, parents never let me. Sad face. That's really depressing. I'm sorry to hear that. You should disown your parents. And then Micah in Motion. I'm just kidding. You should love your parents. Micah in Motion says Super Mario ! With a mushroom. Micah, I don't know how old you are, but if you were renting Super Mario, I take it you're older than us, because I think I was born with Super Mario just there.
It just came out the womb playing Mario.
No, I'm serious.
My first memory of Mario was barely being able to remember things and seeing my sister and cousins playing it with one of those pads. And they're hitting the
trackpad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember there not being Mario ever. I think the first Mario came out in '89, so that's probably why we weren't born till a little bit in there. But that's pretty interesting to think about, what people were renting on the SNES and stuff.
Dude, yeah.
It's cool. And then Alonzi Jonesy says Pokemon Stadium. That's a good call.
Oh man, wow! I didn't even think about it. I actually owned both of them.
Yeah,
so.
I remember you had the gold cart for 2 and everything. And then Super Beaner says Bomberman and Quake. Bomberman was actually pretty cool. The multiplayer stuff with Bomberman was pretty interesting. But Quake, I didn't play Quake till I was a little bit older, and I played it I think I played it on Xbox. Wasn't there a Quake on Xbox?
Yeah, that was Quake 64?
No, on the Xbox.
Or yeah,
it was
sorry.
Quake 3 or something like that.
I think it was just called Quake. I think it was a reboot.
It was a reboot. That's what it was. But yeah, so I don't know. I never played the original Quake or anything. But that's a pretty interesting one.
I played a little bit of Quake 2 recently in VR. It's really cool.
The next level, dude. Anyways, but yeah, so thanks for writing in and letting us know which games you played. Everybody else who didn't, do it in the Facebook group or something. So we're going to jump on over to the People's Champ. Brent, we have a couple questions on the Instagram if you want to look at those, and then you can choose from all of them, whichever.
Man, some really good questions today, guys. But we have one question that's just so ridiculous that I think it has to be the People's Champion question. I'm sorry to all of you that had serious, great questions, but Christina Rogers is going to be the People's Champ today. She says, if you had to categorize a fully loaded baked potato as either a sandwich or a salad, which would you choose and why?
A baked potato as a sandwich or a salad? It would have to be a salad. It's a vegetable, and it's like smushed, and you put stuff on top of it. A sandwich, like it would be something that you pick up and like.
But what if both sides of the potato are considered the buns, and then the filling is what's in between?
So the potato?
So the potato is the bun.
Wait, no.
And the filling is the inside of the sandwich.
But who eats a baked potato like that?
Good point. You're not going to pick it up.
Yeah, like if I saw someone doing that, I would probably call the police. Like that's like you might be a serial killer. Like
so that settles it then. It's a salad.
It's got to be a salad. Like, have you ever just walked into Potato Shack and saw someone just holding their potato, fucking just eating it like a straight psychopath?
All right, fair enough.
A salad it is.
Definitely a salad. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Christina, for
Great question.
Yeah, what you got over there, Brent?
Okay, we got a couple other ones.
Listener questions.
We got Dylan Parton here. He says, which console will rule the holiday market this year?
I think it just depends on the price of PlayStation and the price of the 2 or 3 or however many fucking Xboxes there are. If there's a lesser console, like I'm guessing there's going to be for Xbox along with the Series X, I think Xbox will take the cake on sales.
I also think launch lineup is going to be a big deal.
Big deal.
Because we already know Xbox has Senua 2, which I'm not a huge fan of the first Hellblade, but it's got a big following, and a lot of people really like it. And right now, as far as we know, the only game for PS5 is Godfall, right? So, I mean, Xbox so far seems to have the better launch lineup, but we only have one game from each console.
And Halo Infinite.
So, I mean, like,
We'll see. We'll see. I
think if the price difference only comes down to like $50 to $100, it won't be that big of a deal.
It'll be a huge deal. $50 to $100 is going to be a big deal.
50 won't be a big deal. 100 will be a big deal. If it's only a $50 difference, I think you could sway people by having a better launch lineup. If it's $100, maybe it'll be a big deal.
I think $50 even. People will literally look at that and be like, "Nah, I'm good."
I mean, same specs. You know what I mean? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because like I really feel like if you have the Xbox and it comes with like 3 months of Game Pass and like Halo Infinite bundled or some shit, but it's an extra $50, then it might be worth. I don't know. It's one of those things. We'll have to see.
I'm gonna say PlayStation. Like right, just instinctually, I'm gonna say PlayStation is gonna take it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox has something planned.
I also think just because of the recency bias about how well PlayStation has done the past like few years, I think that PlayStation will continue to do well, at least at first. But we'll have to see. I don't think that Xbox is going to hold anything back, and I think it's going to be a really much tighter race this season or this generation.
Battle of the gods.
We've got Giselle Bozeman here. He says, do you have any options on how VR can improve? Actually, I do. Or opinions, I think is what he meant. I have a great opinion on how VR can improve.
How do we do it?
Okay. It's by doing something that other people are already doing with the Oculus Quest. Okay. With the PlayStation. Okay. This is my theory. Okay. Hear me out here. So right now, people are doing are getting their Oculus Quest, and instead of doing the link cable to the computer, they're using a program called Virtual Desktop. Okay, so basically, if you have a computer that is capable of running VR, you can run the VR wirelessly through Virtual Desktop as long as you have a 5 gigahertz internet connection, which isn't that like extreme. You know what I mean? So there are people out there wirelessly running like PC VR, Steam games. You know what I mean? I think that the next generation of PlayStation VR needs to wirelessly hook up to the console. You know what I mean? And ditch all the sensors and shit. I really think that will be the next generation. Like, just wireless, like, PC quality VR. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they somehow still have to beat the price of the Quest.
Right. Yeah.
Because if they're not cheaper than the Quest, they're not going to...
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think that that PlayStation will be able to match the price of the Quest.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. That's what I'm saying, because the only reason the PlayStation VR sold so well at first is because it was the cheapest entry into VR. Now it's not anymore.
True.
You know?
But we're also going to have like a really good hardware with the PS5. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be like, it's going to open up a lot of doors for the VR department. Like, this next generation of PlayStation VR is going to be like as good or better than like the current generation of PC VR. You know what I mean? Like,
what if they just didn't release a PSVR 2?
I would be very surprised. But even if they don't, and they just keep the current generation hardware, it'll still perform
better,
like leaps and bounds better on the new console. So, you know.
Cool. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah. Let's see. We got Devin Mayer here. He said, "Are y'all pumped about Saturday?"
I'm so pumped.
I'm so pumped. He said, "I think it'd be dope if y'all gave the meetup a name and decided a frequency like yearly or biannual or some shit like that." Yeah, we were talking about that, Devin.
What would we name it? Speaking of,
we'll have a name by that day for sure.
If for some reason you didn't hear the intro, he's talking about our meetup this Saturday at 6 p.m. at Game Preserve in Spring, which is like a classic arcade. You know, it's bring your own beer. Everybody bring your own alcohol if you want. Make sure you have a drunk driver. I mean a designated driver.
Definitely not a drunk driver.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. No, designated driver or something. And then we'll be there till they close, which I believe is like 10. So it'll be like 4 hours of just like arcade. You know, bring $15 with you for once you pay that, you play all you want. And honest, if we get more than 10 people there, it'll drop the price down by $5 per person. So
cool.
Let's see what happens with that. I know we're almost at 10.
Definitely bring 15 just in case.
Yeah, just in case. And then you can also bring food in if you want. Like, it doesn't matter.
We might order some pizza or something. You know, it'll be fun.
Play some NBA Jam. Anyways, I think we should call it. What should we call it? I don't know. The game Speak Up. No, no. What do we call it?
Game Speak Gameathon 2020.
That's pretty intense.
No.
That sounds like a Olympic game.
Game Speak Game Fest. No.
Game Fest. Meet and speak. Hello. No, just kidding. I don't know what to call it. Devin, what do you think we should call it?
Yeah, how about we give Devin ultimate naming authority here?
Yeah,
Devin, you name it. Don't use the word penis. You can't just be like...
Yeah, it's got to be a legit name. That way we can post it and not have to deal with the repercussions of calling it the penis meat.
Yeah, if you come up with even a semi-legit name, we will make it the official name. Yeah. So, you know.
It's all on Devin.
It's all on Devin. Come up with something, Devin. Get back to us. It'll be great. All right. We have Sarah Brock here.
Hola, Sarah.
What up, Sarah? She says, "Can you come up with a game that starts with every letter of the alphabet? Example, A, Animal Crossing." And no, you can't use that one now.
Okay.
Phoenix Williams takes it to the next level, and he says, "Too easy. I challenge the boys to get it done in 3 minutes or less."
Oh my God, that's going to be tough. Okay,
right.
Let me set a timer. Okay, I got the clock ready. 3, 2, or hold on.
Right, we're going to work together on this. So as soon as we get one, we'll just move to the next letter of the alphabet. Right?
Yeah, let's not stick to it for too long.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. A, Anthem.
Alien. Oh, okay. B. Here, if you got one, do it. B. Bloodborne.
C.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. D is Descenders.
Okay. E is Everybody's Golf.
F is Fallout.
Okay. G.
Gears of War.
Gears of War.
H.
I gotta do
Halo.
the whole alphabet
Halo.
every time. I is
Eco.
Eco. Okay.
J is
Just Dance 2020.
K.
K is
What's that game called? Cameo.
Cameo. That's a good one. A, B, C, D, H, I, J, K, L. L is Lost Island or Lost Odyssey.
M.
Mario.
World or Mario Party.
Mario Party.
There we go. N.
No Man's Sky.
O
is Ori and the Blind Forest.
P.
P is
Oh my God, what's P?
Peggle. Yeah, there you go.
Q.
Q. Wait, no. A B C D F G H I J K L M N P Q. Yeah, Q.
Quake.
R. I'm not being helpful. Rage 2.
S
is
Super Mario Brothers. T. QRS T.
Time Splitters 2.
U.
U.
Unreal Tournament.
V.
Is there a virtual reality game called
virtual reality?
Okay. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N P Q R S T V W X Y.
Wait, we didn't do W.
Oh, W. WarioWare. Inc.
Okay. WX. XCOM.
Z.
This is the hardest one. Zelda.
Zoo Tycoon.
Oh, okay.
Zelda.
Hey, we did it.
We did it with 44 seconds to spare.
Hell yeah, dude. We're good.
My God. We're just insane.
Eat your heart out, motherfuckers. Yeah. So there you go.
I was afraid we weren't going to be able to make it. We did good.
Yeah, I feel like we spent a good minute just reciting the alphabet to like figure out where we were at.
True.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah,
good
for that
question.
challenge.
Yeah, good challenge. We got Phoenix Williams here. He says, I'm shopping for a good mic at the moment, so I'm just going to ask for any recommendations you guys might have in that ballpark.
It really just depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you and where you're going to be doing it at. I would recommend getting a like if it's just for you, like to record like you playing games or something, then get a USB condenser mic. And they sell some pretty good ones, like just at Best Buy. But like, there's not really any specific what. As long as you spend like $100 on a USB condenser mic, you're gonna have some good quality, and you're not gonna need much more than that. You know, just get like a shock mount for it. That way, whenever you like hit your desk or whatever, it doesn't make like a huge rattle noise on the mic and stuff. But and if you're trying to do like podcasting stuff and you're in an area where you don't have good audio or good like background sounds, like if you have a lot of echo, then get dynamic mics like we have, which they're fairly cheap, but you got to buy an interface to use them, which is like what the big red box is that we have on YouTube. So you're going to be spending over $100 no matter which way you go. It just, like I said, if you're just playing games, get a USB condenser. Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Thanks, Phoenix. We have Austin Collins here. He says, Sonic is currently beating out Birds of Prey, showing studios that if you listen to fans, profit can be made. Any games being made into movies, do you think Hollywood should take fan suggestions on?
I don't think there's any that I know of besides the what's it called? The Uncharted movies that they're making. That's like the only video game movie I know of that's getting made at the moment.
That I heard about the reboot for Resident Evil. I'm not sure if that's a movie or a series, but
that's a TV series.
I still think it could
Netflix.
be, applicable to the situation. You know
true,
what I mean?
True.
I'd love to like get some feedback. We don't really have a trailer or anything, so there's nothing to like really criticize at this point. You know what I mean?
No, but okay. So he's talking about the Netflix Resident Evil series, the live action the series that's coming out.
Oh, he's not.
No, I'm talking about Brent.
Sorry,
I'm talking to Austin.
Oh, my bad.
Talking to the people. But yeah. So in respect to that, I would say make it like follow the actual storyline and don't do this bullshit that the Resident Evil movies do.
Totally.
You know, like I want it to follow from the first movie, or like follow where the T virus starts to outbreak. They could even do like small little, like, base each season like on the stuff where like the kids are disappearing in the woods, you know, like how they talk about in the original story and in the books and stuff. I think that'd be interesting.
And make it scary. You know, we don't need all this like action hero shit.
Doing backflips, shooting pistols, and
God,
it's so dumb. Like, give us some actual horror.
Yeah. Okay. And that's all I got over here. Let's move on to the Instagram.
Yeah, the Instagram questions. We have one from 9 Paranormal 9. He says, should E3 be canceled because of coronavirus?
I think E3 should be canceled because nobody's fucking going, regardless of coronavirus. Honestly, I'm just like disheartened as fuck about E3 this year, dude. Like, it's kind of like sad to me.
It's dead. I think coronavirus somehow already killed E3. Yeah, but I think yes, it should be canceled. And I guess Brent agrees. Ziggy Bits says, the greatest of all time couch co-op game, or GOAT couch co-op game.
Man,
there's so many good ones.
You'd be hard pressed not to include Halo in this conversation.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends on what you want. If you want like a first-person shooter, Halo or Borderlands.
Oh, I was about to say Borderlands is another one that has to be discussed, at least if we're talking about best co-op game of all time.
Yeah,
you know,
and couch co-op specifically.
You know, another good, really, really good couch co-op game that doesn't get enough shine. A Way Out. Yeah, that is a fun game for like if you just are sitting there with a friend and you like want to go through an adventure together. It's really neat.
Yeah, and you find a way out together. Yeah, that's a good one. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time is really dope.
Really fun. That's one you can just pick up and play. You don't really need a lot of like commitment to get into.
No, you can actually go back to our we did a whole episode over the best couch co-op games, and I think a lot of these were mentioned somewhere back in our long list of episodes, but another one is Overcooked or Overcooked 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, especially if you have like a Switch or whatever, because it's just so easy to pop out the control the little Joy-Cons and just hop into a game. But yeah, those are some good ones.
Totally
enjoy those Ziggy Bits. And that's it for listener questions today. Thank you so much, everybody. There's so many questions. We loved each and every one of them.
Now it's time for Brent's super hardcore video game trivia challenge. These are 5 questions made to blast you into another dimension.
Oh my god.
And completely ruin your day.
No.
This week's topic, iconic franchises.
Oh, okay. Iconic franchises. I like this. What do we got? Hit me with number 1.
All right, prepare yourself, bro.
I'm prepared.
All right, number 1. In the Halo series, what race first battled the Flood and built the Halos 100,000 years before the events of the first game?
The Forerunners?
Yes.
Okay.
Ding, ding. Good one.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right. Number 2. Stuart Copeland wrote and produced all of the music for the first 4 Spyro the Dragon games. What famous British rock band was he also the drummer for?
A British rock band?
Yes.
Would I know this band?
You'd know the songs from this band, and hopefully this band.
And whenever you say rock band, you mean like rock or like punk?
Like rock, like classic rock.
Okay. Copeland. Oh, man. Just give me the first letter of the band's name.
P? The P?
Okay, the P, the pop, the pop. I don't know this one.
The Police.
Oh my goodness! Wow, I didn't even know they were a British band.
Yeah, I didn't either. They don't really sound British when they're singing like every little thing she does is mad. I don't know.
But, no, wait, that's not them. I was thinking of a different band. Okay, my bad.
Okay. All right. Number 3. In the first Half-Life game, what is the name of the research facility you're trying
Black Mesa.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Don't test me, bro. Don't test me, bro.
All right,
Okay.
all right. 2 out of 3. Doing good, doing good.
Okay. I just need one more.
Right? One more and you win. 2 more and you take home the silver.
Oh, my God.
Okay. In the first... Oh, wait, no. Sorry. We just did that one. A long-lost game in the franchise. This was the only God of War game that didn't release on a PlayStation platform.
A long-lost one?
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to find it anymore.
And it didn't come to a PlayStation platform. That's weird. I didn't even know there was ever a God of War on another console. Was it like a known console at the time? What?
I'll give you a hint. It
Okay.
came to mobile. It was a mobile game, but you can't get it anymore because it's like a different kind. It was like an older game, like that wouldn't operate on modern.
Like on the N-Gage or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Was it God of War Portable?
No, it was God of War Betrayal.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. Dang it, I got one shot left.
All right, that's okay. I think you have a pretty good chance of getting this one.
Okay.
Number 5. What is Donkey Kong's girlfriend's name?
Oh, Trixie.
Ooh, wrong.
Wait, hold on.
You get one more. I'll give you one more guess.
Why did I say Trixie?
Trixie's the young one. I
Trixie is...
That would be kind of weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I don't know why I said that. Hold on. It's now I can't remember her name. She blows you kisses all the time.
She does.
Oh my God. What is her name? Misty? No. Well, I'm thinking of Ash.
Misty Kong.
Hold on.
Cassandra Kong.
Yeah.
Just like
Hold on. What is her name? Now I can't remember. No, I can't lose on this one. What's the first letter? Please give me the first letter.
C.
Candy Kong.
There you go.
I knew it was an E, but I couldn't remember. I was like, Misty? It's Candy. Yeah. Candy Kong.
All right,
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
I'll take a half on that one. Yeah,
I think you still passed. I'll give you 3/4, so you're above the halfway mark.
I don't know why I went straight to Trixie either. I feel so ashamed of myself.
Because it's like the only girl that comes immediately to mind when you think of like
Donkey
Kong. Yeah.
Yeah. I still remember those kisses. No, but anyways, that's it for the show this week, guys. Please go over to our Patreon and support us if you can. For $1, you can help us grow the show. We're going to be doing more shit on YouTube, like we said earlier. Expect that pretty soon. Anyways, remember, you've been listening to GameSpeak Podcast, courtesy of CreateForSanity.com. The show posts for free every Wednesday on all podcast directories. Be sure to submit any questions you want read on the show to the GameSpeak Podcast Facebook group at facebook.com/group/GameSpeak Podcast. And check out our video content on youtube.com/CreateForSanity. And if you want to stay up to date with your boys, you can find me on Twitter at the handle Aljaffer Jamel, and Brent at Brent has one. That's the number 1. And check out the GameSpeak Podcast Instagram, where we also ask for questions and stuff like that and post our behind the scenes stuff. Until next time, listeners, later.